the gaming community needs to be better about building the community it's in.
Yes.
And I can't agree with that enough. If you know anything about Greg Miller and Kinda Funny, being better is a big part of what we always talk about. Is be better to each other and don't be a jerk. And I know right now on our very own Twitch page right here, a bunch of people are being jerks. And everybody who's a good person, which is the majority of gamers, need to step up, ladies and gentlemen, and of course show that the positive outshines the negative. That's my rant. Goodbye on that one.
Thank you.
He's gay!
Gaming journalism is a dying medium, centered on emotional or political bias, rarely ever posting anything gamers actually want to check their site out for. On December 12, hackers demanded $2 million from Insomniac Games, or else they'd leak Wolverine. I guess Insomniac called their bluff, and the leaks dropped today, or yesterday. I don't really know. I was painting tiny robots. My first impressions of the leak were not great. I understand it's an alpha. Can't show you anything because Sony's being a little bitch right now. It's your standard fare over-the-shoulder action game made popular by Resident Evil 4, then burned into the mind of Zoomers with the God of War reboot series that the creator himself didn't like. And then people on Twitter who love Sony and everything they do told him to go bubble himself. One of the leaked videos I saw had a stage where I guess you played as Jean Grey and Emma Frost, because that's exactly what I want in a Wolverine game. I want to play Jean Grey. And frankly, after Spider-Man 2's horrible writing, I have zero faith in Insomniac. There's a reason why Spider-Man 2 didn't win Game of the Year, because it really wasn't. Future Marvel games as far as 2030 were also in the leaks. Jesus Christ, Sony is trying to pull an MCU with the PlayStation brand. We're talking a roadmap that's lasting over a decade. And let's be real here, an Insomniac X-Men game would be totally cringeworthy, as far as writing goes. I wouldn't be shocked if modern Insomniac didn't run with the Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey being in a polyamorous relationship storyline, dude. Like, I wouldn't put it past them. They made Black Cat a bisexual chick in the Spider-Man game, and she's fighting to save her girlfriend in France. Then you had like the gay prom one. I plugged out. I was like, I'm done. You couldn't even leave the. It's like, what are you doing, Insomniac? You're sucking. That's what you.
Look what the homosexuals have done to me.
Oh, and Mary Jane is John Wick, and the guy, the director, was like, "We're making Mary Jane the hero she is."
Just get it out there.
She's okay.
One shot everybody.
She's okay. I knew that those missions weren't the fan favorites coming out of Spider-Man 1. We knew we had to make her more of a proactive, capable person. And if she's a little OP, I don't give a shit. It's important to have her be a capable hero. You know, this might sound cliche or whatever, cheesy, but like, you don't need to have powers to be a hero.
Like, oh, go bubble yourself. Bubble yourself down.
Black Girl Magic!
Insomniac Cyber Breach reveals X-Men game exclusivity on PlayStation throughout 2030. Oddly enough, the Insomniac leaks split gaming journalism in two. Normally, they're united in any politically correct cause, but maybe this is more about access rather than anything else. Kotaku and Polygon covered the leaks, while Greg Miller and Kinda Funny took an odd stance on the leak. Where was this energy for the GTA 6 leaks?
This Insomniac leak is an invasion of privacy done on a massive scale. That's why today we will not be reporting on the details of the leak. Instead, we're discussing how this affects people working on your favorite games.
Hello everyone, it's me, Greg Miller from Kinda Funny Games, and if you didn't know, Insomniac was held ransom by some cyber hackers, the types, you know what I mean, saying that they wanted $2 million or they'd release a whole bunch of Insomniac files. And they did that. Insomniac did not give them the money. The hackers released the files, and now the internet is in flames as all sorts of information about Wolverine, Insomniac, personal data of the developers, and so much more is floating around. This has led to a giant conversation about how this should be handled in reporting video game news. I wanted to come to you and talk to you about how we'll approach it on Kinda Funny Games Daily today. Today, we will not go into the details of this leak. We will instead talk about the human component. All the developers at Insomniac who just had years and years of work published when it was not ready to be seen, information published when it was not ready to be seen, contracts published when they were not.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
This you?
Number one, the continuing saga of Grand Theft Auto 6. If you were under a rock all weekend, maybe offline, maybe you missed it, Grand Theft Auto 6 did in fact leak a whole bunch of footage from it, a whole bunch of information, and now we are dealing with the fallout. Oh my.
You guys covered the Capcom leaks and detailed the information in said leak. Personal info was leaked then. So what makes it different today? It's because Capcom devs probably won't be tweeting about it. But you're quick to speak on the Xbox leaks. What's the difference? So only when it's PlayStation you choose not to cover. Massive, massive L.
Now, I want you to keep in mind that Greg Miller has a podcast called P.S. I Love You.
Jesus Christ. If a man could drop on his knees and blow a console, Greg Miller would give the PlayStation the sloppiest topping.
I'm also sure that Kinda Funny gets a lot of exclusive access with PlayStation. And they get to work with Sony on projects despite having numbers on YouTube that are almost as bad as G4. I'm not even joking. How Kinda Funny still exists with this type of footprint is ridiculous.
All right, let's do this one last time. My name's Greg Miller, and I had a dream to review video games. For 17 years, I've been the one and only Buffalo Wing loving man to do it at both IGN and Kinda Funny. I'm pretty sure you know the rest. I reviewed a bunch of video games, won a game award, fell in love, podcasted about PlayStation, and then podcasted about PlayStation again, and again, and again, and again, and I did this. That was the birth of Shirtless Spider-Man. From there, he became a Twitter sensation, an anime introduction, a page in the Spider-Verse art book, but most importantly, snuck his way into Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4 because Insomniac thought the bit was so funny. So imagine my honor that after Kinda Funny introduced Shirtless Miles Morales, Insomniac thought it was so endearing they put both the Spider Bros in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Once you've unlocked the photo ops from Robbie Robertson, swing over to the Upper East Side. You'll eventually find the Kinda fanboys posing for the camera, just like Bless and I have in the past. So snap pics with us and send them our way on social media.
Bye! We're in hell!
Greg Miller over here hyping himself up like Darkseid felt when he hit Masters in Street Fighter. And nobody heard about this Twitter sensation of him taking off his damn shirt again. I do not understand the mindset where a man has literal tits and he has no problem showing them to the world repeatedly. Look at me. I eat like trash. And the heaviest thing I pick up is a grocery bag.
It's toxic.
Kinda Funny legit said leave Insomniac alone. Like Insomniac was a very good friend they always knew.
And frankly, that's the long and the short of it. Many of these journalists don't mind covering leaks till it was Sony. Years ago, I would have just called this Sony bias or, Sony pony stuff or something. But now I see it for what it is. It's all just business. Kotaku has nothing to lose since every major game publisher has pretty much blacklisted them. But if Kotaku was going to get some exclusive access to the Wolverine game demo before anyone else, that would have made a world of difference. They wouldn't have posted anything about the leaks. Another perfect example of VGC covering, oh my god, so many leaks, it's not even funny. Like, look at all of these leaks with the Insomniac Sony leak.
It should go without saying, but VGC won't be reporting specifically on any of the stolen assets in the Insomniac hack.
Can you imagine how many lives this is going to be saving?
This is a leak, and people's personal information is included in the breach. Feel for Insomniac today.
As stated before, these sort of things have happened to game developers, but all of a sudden the energy just changed when it came to Insomniac and Sony. Naomi Kyle weighed in, and she hasn't been relevant in the gaming sphere in literally a decade or more. Stop reporting leaks! And then of course, Twitter dragged her ass down the street. Oh, the hypocrisy. Another day, another Destiny leak.
Here's the latest episode of Last Week in Gaming. Harry Potter game leaks, Nintendo Switch changes, the Mega Man movie. Give it a watch, like, comment, and subscribe.
If you look at her profile, you see she was part of the strike that no normal person gave a flip about. And her pinned tweet shows you that she can be hired for hosting gigs. You might look at this and say, so what? I look at this and say, she's looking for work and wants to stay on Sony's good side. Who the hell pins a tweet that they joined a talent agency and you can book them to host shows? Somebody looking for work. She wants you to see that first and foremost. Also, it seems that IGN doesn't share her sentiment about not reporting on leaks.
The Insomniac data breach has revealed Sony has signed a deal with Marvel to make an exclusive X-Men game until the end of 2035.
There's a bit more back and forth between journalists and game developers, swinging on either side of the pendulum, and I'm not going to bother looking for them for you because really it doesn't matter. But here's something I think is a bit more substantial that we need to pay attention to, that the niche gamer covered. Thank God they did.
Chief among the leaks is the internal presentation that reveals not only is Sony planning on increasing game prices again from $70 to around $80 to $100, they're planning on releasing the next Spider-Man game in 3 parts, $50 each. Even with AAA games rising in prices across the board to a new $70 standard, Sony is planning to release Spider-Man 3 in 3 parts. 2 parts of the main game with a multiplayer separate game for a grand total of $150. While these leaks total around to 1.7 terabytes of confidential data, and mostly only related to Insomniac's own titles, it gives insight into Sony's potential plans for all PlayStation games moving forward.
That's something that I feel needs to be reported on, that they clearly have a plan to increase the prices of console gaming. Now, the federal government is looking to reduce interest rates starting next year. Around 3 times in 2024. I don't know if there'll be any more after that. But even in light of the fact that interest rates will be lowered, Sony is planning to jack the prices higher. This is a sad part of the whole recession and everything being so expensive. Once these companies realize they can charge you more for things, they never go back, even if it makes it cheaper for them. And I'm sure you could sit there and say, well, they're going to spend more money to make more games. Is that really necessary? Is it really necessary to spend more money to make the Spider-Man game than it costs to make the Spider-Man movie, when the writing is worse than the Spider-Man movie? I don't know. I'll tell you this, I'm probably quitting console gaming. I know, like, buying a PC for gaming is expensive, but you pay the initial cost up front, and then later on you save money. That's how you win in life. You pay more up front, pay less later. You don't pay less up front and then pay more collectively over time. That's how you end up in DSPville.